Welcome to a brand new year of Outtakes with Fiore, and this year promises to be even bigger and better than all the previous years. Your cinematic class is about to begin. Your professor is in. Say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. Nice to be back with you again. We start off 2020 in rather grandiose style. We have a lot to do tonight and a lot coming up for the show. I'll explain some of that as we move on, but let's delve right into the movies, shall we? This first one has one of the key buzzwords currently going around in Tinseltown. It is women-driven. Yes, all of the main characters in this are female, and it tosses in a little bit of sci-fi and thrills along the way. The movie is called The Shasta Triangle. Here's a look.
Someone's watching us.
Hello? Guys? My dad was right.
Brought us out here to die.
Shasta Triangle. It's worth a look, especially if you're one of those folks that think, women-driven movies are the way to go. This one will fit your bill. Every year I say the same thing, and probably it's truer this year than in many years since. The movies that I have selected for top honors at the end of the year, 2019, are vastly different this year than the ones that are up for Academy Awards and the ones that my own organization, the Broadcast Film Critics Association, which is now the Critics' Choice Association, picked for their best movies of the year. I think we combined on one category where things were the same, and other than that, it just didn't fit. We have an extravaganza award show. In fact, I think we're going to have to break that one up into two parts, and that'll be coming down the pike in the next couple of weeks. And I say it every year, and I will say it again, especially this year, that you will have more of the films that I select in your personal home video collection than you will any of the films that the condescending critics in the two-letter cities pick for you. A lot of people give nepotism a bad name, but I got to tell you, we would all do it, right? And in fact, we probably all do it now anyway. So one can't really blame Michael Madsen for helping his son out. His son wants to get into the business, wants to be an actor like his father. So Michael went and called a couple of his buddies and friends and got together to have them make a little cameo appearance in his son's first endeavor called Red-Handed. And Michael himself even stops by and has a little extended cameo in his son's movie. And I got to tell you, he probably has the best scene in this movie. The movie is called Red-Handed. Here's a look.
How do you know about this stuff?
What are you trying to say, Duff?
9 times out of 10, they say it's a family member.
Look, I'm starting to get a little angry.
I see how you act with him.
May the fires of hell burn inside him and give him strength.
This is his commencement.
Tonight you will witness the dark passage. We summon the great Leviathan within this child.
If you want to stay here and waste time, hey! That's fine, all right?
Go look for him. You motherfucker. Where's my boy?
Is that who you think I am?
red-handed as occult, devil-worshipping movies go. It's pretty much run-of-the-mill. But it does launch off Michael Madsen's son's career, so in that perspective, it might have some historical significance to it. Bong Joon-ho has put out some pretty decent movies, and his latest is called Parasite. And of the three movies that he's most noted for right now, this is probably the weakest of the three. So naturally, all the critics are fawning over this one. It certainly doesn't have the impact that The Host had, and it's not nearly as creative as Snowpiercer, but this is the one the critics decided that they're going to plant a lot of accolades on it. Take a look. Judge for yourself.
뭐야, 소독해? 창문 닫아.
나도 봐. 공짜로 집안에 소독도 하고.
부모님 얼굴도 뵙고 좋더라. 건강들 하시고.
일거리가 없으셔도.
네가 내 대신 얘 과외 선생님 좀 해줘라. 영어.
대학생인 척하라는 거야?
구라를 좀 치지 뭐.
넌 이 좋은 실력으로 왜 미대는 맨날 떨어지냐?
아이씨, 죽을래.
저는 이게 위조나 범죄라고 생각하지 않아요. 참으로 시의적절하다. 부자들이 원래 참 잘 속아.
사모님이 뭐랄까.
풀타임으로 수업 어떻게 하시는지. Is it okay with you? 우리 다송이는 완전 예술가 재질인데.
침팬지를 그린 거죠?
자화상이에요.
역시.
그동안 미술쌤도 여러 명 바꿔가면서 해봤는데요.
제가 사람 하나가 휙 하고 떠올랐는데.
아 잠깐. 제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김진모 그는 이사촌.
부자인데 착하다니까.
진짜 니가 착한 거지. I'm deadly serious.
근데 지금 진짜로 이상한 게 뭔 것 같아.
Of the three films he's noted for, I think this is Ho's weakest of the three. Certainly not as creative as the other two, but again, this is the one the critics are fawning over, and it does have a scene at the end, which is very reminiscent of Sam Peckinpah, who I always liked. So in that case, it kind of salvages itself. You can read my complete review of this movie on the official Outtakes with Fiore blog. I'll have a lot more to say about it there and give you some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that went on with this movie. It was all the way back in August of 2018 that I hung up and put to bed the hockey show that we used to do here in the studio called In the Crease. And In the Crease had a Facebook page that was kind of a match to it called Netminders. Well, I got to tell you, I reopened up Netminders as the Facebook page just because over the holidays, I heard about 2 or 3 different interviews done with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, and I was just screaming at the TV. Nobody challenges this man at all. They just let him rant and rave, and they don't point out the inconsistencies of what he's saying. So I felt we needed an outlet there. Now, in the past, the Facebook page was public. It's not this time around. I made it private. This way, it's just a bunch of us folks talking about hockey. And this is for hockey fans. This is not for, fanboys of home teams. It's not that kind of fanatic thing. We're talking hockey here. So the page is open, and you have to join in order to be there. It's private, and we can do things on a private page that you can't do on a public page. If you miss In the Crease, the TV show, and you want to talk true hockey, look up Netminders on Facebook asked to join, and we'll bring you on in there. You know, speaking of bringing on in, there is a big push, and I've mentioned this on a couple of shows before, to bring female super agent heroes to the spotlight. Okay, even the latest James Bond movie, which is due out in November, supposedly is setting up a female 00 agent that could possibly go off on her own franchise series. Well, naturally, the independent movies are going to try to jump the gun, if you will, and get out there beforehand. This movie is called Agent Jade Black. And it probably would have sufficed to set up a female James Bond agent if it wasn't so readily apparent that the star of the movie can't fight and does not know how to handle a gun. Other than that, here's a look at Agent Jade Black.
So you would be Jade Black.
Who's this?
She was one of the very first recruited into this program. Intelligent, insane.
I was you, or you were you.
She vanished. No one's heard from her.
Well, you're hearing from her now.
Biochemical attacks across the globe. Tokyo, Manchester, Amsterdam.
I am dropping poison bait into the middle of a rat colony.
The virus is spreading throughout the entire sex trade.
Who would want to stop me?
Can I just kill her now?
Don't ever underestimate her.
You know better than anyone that I'm not afraid to die.
She's not giving us anything.
You do not want to be standing that close.
You can't let it get personal.
It is personal.
Well, Clint Eastwood is up to his old tricks again. He's releasing a movie at the end of the year, just in time for awards consideration. And this one is certainly heads and tails above last year's endeavor. Last year was The Mule, and that kind of sort of went nowhere. This one is Richard Jewell, and this one is actually pretty good. In fact, you cannot watch this movie and not draw parallels about what's happening to Richard Jewell and what is currently happening to President Donald Trump. The parallels between these two are striking. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why most of the critics and most of the Hollywood studio executives are downplaying this movie big time. They shouldn't. It's a lot of fun to watch. Here's a look at Clint Eastwood's Richard Jewell.
All right, Richard, here's what we're going to do.
We need a voice exemplar.
I want you to say into this phone, there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Richard, you're a national hero now.
Thank you, sir. But I was just doing my job.
You always look at the guy who found the bomb, just like you always look at the guy who found the body.
Jewell fits the profile of the lone bomber.
A frustrated white man who is a police wannabe who seeks to become a hero.
We're running it.
You're a suspect. You don't talk. I talk. Say it.
I don't talk.
This might be the only way to clear your name. I want you to say there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Stop trying to be their best friend.
I was raised to respect authority.
Authorities are looking to eat you alive.
There's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
I'm sorry, what?
His accusers are two of the most powerful forces in the world. The United States government and the media.
I do want to help y'all. I'm law enforcement, too. There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Did he do it?
Richard Jewell is an innocent man. He's a hero.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
One more time, just a little louder.
I report the facts.
You've ruined this man's life.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
Do a couple in a row.
My son saved people's lives.
is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
You set that bomb!
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
I don't know how to protect you.
I think your client is guilty as hell.
They want to fry you.
You ready to start fighting back?
Say, I told you in the teaser at the beginning of the show that there were a whole lot of things planned this year. And, we talked about this a little bit last year, but it never really came to fruition. We are going to do it this year, and that is that when I do this studio work here, we are going to simultaneously broadcast live over Facebook. So you will actually see like what's going on, the talk in between the takes, and not really the polished. In order to make that worthwhile, what I'm going to do is have extra reviews, extra commentaries, and extra Hollywood reports for you that you'll only get on the live Facebook feed. So still working out a little bit of the details on that. That should be coming up within the next couple of months or so. Want to keep your eye open for that. And of course, I'll let you know on the official Outtakes with Fiore Facebook page when all of that is going to shake down. Now, if we talked about a political movie that had, if you will, conservative ramifications from Clint Eastwood, then we probably should acknowledge the movie that goes 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Folks, this movie is called Bombshell. And I have to tell you that they loaded this thing up with a plethora of really fine actors and actresses, and they loaded it up with quality people behind the camera. But all that talent combined cannot stop this movie from being nothing than a major production of progressive propaganda. Here's a look at Bombshell.
Women are everywhere. We're letting them play golf and tennis now.
HR's on the phone because you called me a skirt.
Yeah, I gotta read that manual again.
The attitude off camera was even worse. You're a man-hater. Learn to get along with the boys. You're sexy, but you're too much work. I have a whole list.
Will other women come forward?
You may have heard there was a dust-up involving yours truly and presidential contender Donald Trump.
There was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
Oh my God, did he just accuse me of anger menstruating?
Wait, am I going to be the story?
No.
I'm going to be the story.
No.
Nobody stops watching because of a conflict. They stop watching when there isn't one.
I want to convince you that I belong on air, Mr. Ailes. I think I'd be freaking phenomenal on your network.
I could pluck you out and move you to the front of the line. But I need to know that you're loyal. I need you to find a way to prove it.
I'm the bad guy.
You know why Roger's got that door blocking his office.
Someone has to speak up. Someone has to get mad.
Fox News star Gretchen Carlson dropped a major bombshell today.
What is she doing?
This could kill Fox News.
We need everyone on Team Roger. Get it on. Put it on.
These are the end times. You do understand I have to be above this, right?
You know the entire country is talking about your period right now.
So you're a tough guy, like it really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff.
Sweetheart, this is an island of safety and truth.
There's a man!
Ready to go to war?
Oh, yeah.
Bombshell. I had a very difficult time watching this movie and making it to the end. It is excrement on celluloid, despite the mega talents involved in it. You know, back in my college days, there was a magazine called National Lampoon. It was pretty funny. It was very cutting edge humor, and you always do take a little bit of a risk when you go into that type of humor. But I bring that magazine up at this point because this movie, Reality Queen, reminded me a lot of reading that old magazine. This thing just skewers everything in the millennial and Z generations, these internet superstars and people making money. It just, wow. Talk about lampooning. It's like to the edge and back. I laughed a lot during this movie. I think you will too. It's called Reality Queen.
Is London Logo a business and marketing genius? Or is she simply the accidental beneficiary of an overwhelmingly ignorant American public?
This is Pee-Pee's doghouse. He's a micro chihuahua.
Tell me, why are you allowing us to do this documentary?
I want my fans to know the real London.
Turn that frown upside down, all right? Your sex tape is the one that started it all.
Your partner on the tape was Mr. Iron Mike Tyson, correct?
Come on, man, it's some kind of impersonator. His tattoo's on the wrong side of his face.
What are you doing here?
I'm stealing your thunder. Christy has more followers.
No! Ooh, that just makes me so mad!
That show should be talking about me. I need ideas, people.
Why don't you just reinvent yourself?
Christy Kim's ever-growing ass is casting a shadow on London's career.
Is that a wig? Did you just ask me that?
London gets a tad jealous if we have the same hair color.
I'm not responsible for this! Sometimes I walk down this hallway and wonder, how have I accomplished so much in one lifetime? Here's me with the dollies. I can never remember which is which.
So I want to tell you a little bit about a couple of movies that come from a land down under, Australia. Yeah, they're putting out movies too, you know. The first one is an action-adventure movie. It's called Nothing Man. And the second one is a ghost story, if you will, called Inner Ghosts. Both of these movies have the same problem, and the problem is in the script. Right when you come to the third act of both movies, there is a complete turnaround in the key characters that is not substantiated in the rest of the movie. It's jarring. It'll make you jump back from the screen and say, where did that come from? And that's probably the biggest fault with both of these. Nothing Man is about a person who has amnesia, and when his best friend is killed, he starts to remember who he was and how he got to be living on the streets. Inner Ghosts is really kind of cool. You know, a little better editing and a little better writing, this would have been a decent movie. They actually form demons out of 3D printing. It's really cool to see, and it's kind of a unique idea. The Land Down Under. I know they're having some problems now with wildfires, but they put out a couple of movies here that are worth a look. We're going to run them back to back for you. Nothing Man and Inner Ghosts.
I have no name.
You really don't remember who you are?
No. Twink's dead. Slug was there. I just want to know what happened.
Did you see anything?
Never underestimate the view from the gutter. There have been 2 more deaths. Both street folk. It's like we're being targeted.
So what do we do now?
We need to get off the streets.
Thought you were dead. You don't remember the man who treated you like family. You don't even remember the man you murdered.
When he sees me, he's gonna run.
He had no family. I had no friends. He had 1 foot in the gutter and 1 foot in the grave. You don't know what you're getting into.
I've got nothing to lose, and that makes me a pretty dangerous fella.
Who are you working for?
Burn like fire.
As I explained, the self isn't stored in just one place. It's located in various different areas of the brain, and at the same time, in the nowhere land.
You're a medium. Most scientists aren't.
I'm trying to reach the living souls of patients whose brains are no longer functioning. But before I run the tests on real patients with real brains, I must run the tests on ghosts. What we are doing is opening up a whole new branch of medicine. To do that, I need to use paranormal methods. There's nothing to be afraid of.
You know you have to produce some actual results. You have ghosts.
What is it doing? What is that? It's coming to life. It's right here. The one that's been following me.
Helen!
Let me go. Rachel?
It's following you now. I know what it wants. Don't be afraid.
Say, let's get ready to close this new episode of 2020 down and tell you that Quentin Tarantino is back out again. And you know what? He has the exact same problem that he had with his previous 3 movies. He needs an editor. Ever since Sally Menke died, he hasn't been able to put together a decent film. Fior, how can you say that? It's up for so many awards. I'll tell you how I can say it. You can go right on to the YouTube channel and see my complete review there. Check it out. The URL's down below. I talk all about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and why Quentin needs to find a new Sally. Here's a look at the movie.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Last night, we watched a Rick Dalton double feature. All the shooting. I love that stuff, you know, the killing.
A lot of killing.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut?
Seems this world got you down. You're feeling bad vibrations.
Are you an actor?
No, I'm a stuntman.
Girl, look at me.
So you still with Rick, huh?
Still here.
You can do anything you want to him.
I hired you to be an actor, Rick, not a TV cowboy. You're better than that.
Line?
Got to tell you, I'm really excited about the things we have planned for this show during the coming year. I think you're going to have a really good time too. Miss Elaine is so excited that I'm back in the studio. She said she would read me a bedtime story. With that said, here endeth your lesson.